Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry the uploads have not been too consistent recently. As you can see, I'm currently not in my usual setup. I'm actually away in Edinburgh. I've made a video a couple of days ago which was meant to be out the other day, but I've had a problem so far uploading it because of the disc size, so I'm trying to get that problem sorted out. Hopefully I'll have a double upload for you today with this video and the Q&A I made with my sister, which is a really good video. Definitely go check that out after this one. But yeah, I'm trying my best to get that issue resolved. But anyway, back on to making some really good content for you guys, trying to help you out as much as I can. So today's video, we're going to be talking to you about why you need to be building your empire in your 20s. So if you're like me, you're quite like-minded, you see there's more to life than kind of just like the average life you see. Maybe you see your parents, your family, your friends, and you're like, that doesn't really satisfy me. It's not really enough. And that's kind of like how I've always kind of like that's always kind of been my outlook to life. I see these people like living that kind of like normal lifestyle of just like going out like partying, clubbing, and I'm just like, oh, it's just not even fun anyway. And like, you pushed into going to university by society, parents and friends, and you just waste years there. You end up like financially, mentally and physically just far worse off, and you kind of just like start to question things. And in this video, I kind of want to just help those people who are maybe in their early 20s or they haven't actually approached that stage yet, to kind of like learn from what I've kind of learned from the last few months or so, or kind of my year of being on kind of like self-improvement and kind of like living the life on my like own terms and actually putting in the work to kind of like for my future self. Really, that is what it's all about. So yeah, I'll get on to like the main topics and stuff I want to kind of like mention to you about. So I've kind of like began to see like the fruits of my labor, so to speak, over the last few months or so, from putting in the work, say like in the gym, socially, and like starting this like YouTube channel. You kind of begin to see stuff. I think probably about 6 months is normally like a standard time it kind of takes, if you're really consistent with something, to kind of start to see the results. And obviously, like, I know like a lot of people think like, oh, it's like a long time, but that's the time it is gonna go by anyway, whichever way you kind of like look at it. And I feel like I've kind of just like removed those like distractions and stuff that a lot of people really struggle with at my age. And I definitely don't think I've been perfect. There's been times where I've really been not good enough, and I've kind of done stuff that hasn't really sat well with me whatsoever. But like overall, compared to like a lot of people I see, even like my friends and stuff, I'm like, I feel like I'm doing really well, and I feel like a lot of us, we are pretty much all just kind of like set up to fail by society, with all these like distractions, social media, video games, porn, like all of this stuff is just trying to like drag us down. And if you can kind of like break out of that cycle and like stand up and fight against it, you were doing very well. So that is kind of what I want to bring as many people kind of like out that as I possibly can. And I think when it comes to like, yeah, back to like the main topic of like building your empire, like a lot of people really like underestimate the importance of it, like in your 20s. A lot of people, like I say, oh, just have fun. Your 20s is it's the best time of your life. Like, you have so much fun. I'm like, I hear people say this, and I'm like, at the start it used to scare me, because I was like, I'm not having fun like now at all. I'm like thinking like I like always kind of thought my life would kind of get better as I kind of get older. But like I've always kind of been told by like normal people that, oh, like your 20s and your teens are like your best years. And for me, like, that definitely, I hope that's not the case, because I'm not in for a great time going forward. But I've kind of always thought that like as I get older, like things would get easier, things would get better, and if I put the work in. And that's why I feel like the things are starting to go that way. I'm obviously still very young on the relatively scale. I'm not even 22 yet, but I've only kind of just like really started to become the person that I want to do and put in the work to kind of get me to where I want to be in life. So there's a lot more progress for me to make. But I've kind of like, it's surprised me like how quick I can kind of achieve things. Like, for a lot of people watching this, you will be shocked at what you could kind of achieve within like 6 months if you've never really put the work into anything in your life. like 6 months in their gym if you've never like set foot in there, 6 months on a business, 6 months improving your mental health, 6 months improving social skills, whatever it may be that you want to do. If you dedicate your life to that, the results you see will be like, you wouldn't believe it. Like, that's the best way to describe it. And like, I'm thinking like, oh, I've done this in 6-12 months. Imagine like 2-3 years. Like, imagine, I'm thinking like where I could be in like 3 years time is just, I just feel like I'm gonna be at a completely different level to like a lot of my peers and a lot of people I've kind of grown up with. Because, and I don't think I should, like, it's not me being arrogant, and I don't think I should feel bad for this whatsoever. It's because I'm the one who's put in the work for this, so I shouldn't feel bad for them or feel like, not feel like good about myself. It's my decision. I chose not to go for those instant gratifications of going out, drugs, all of this stuff, like hooking up. I chose not to do that, so I deserve the rewards at the end of the day. And I've learned. I've watched people older than me. And what is it like a smart man like learns from his mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others, and that is like so true. I've watched people like Hamza, First Man, like these some of my favorite people I aspire to be like. They're older than me, they've lived lifestyles similar to me, even worse, and they've kind of like said like just like, you don't want to do that, and don't do this, don't do that. And like, I've made a lot of my own mistakes already, so I definitely don't want to make any more. And I'm kind of learning like how I'll probably feel in a few years time, and having that kind of like guidance there and seeing what they've done in like 2-3 years is just like really like inspirational. And going back to that point of what you could do in like 2-3 years, look at someone like Hamza, who was literally on government benefits a couple of years ago, and now he's making more than like an average person would a year within a month. Like, it's crazy what you can do. How did he get here? How did he do that? Consistency and discipline and hard work. Like, that is all it takes. He didn't have a special skill, and a lot of people watching this could do that, could emulate that, or even better. They're most likely in a better position than him, better position than me. Like, you could really do this. I just can't like hammer home the importance of just building that like strong foundation, building the body, building your finances up, building your mental health, building your social skills, building your wealth. Like, all of these things, having good relationship with God, having a good relationship with family, like friends, like whatever it may be, like having all of these things like kind of built up by the time you're like 30, you will just like kind of stand out from the crowd. There won't be many people who can compete with you whatsoever. And like I say, you kind of start to see the rewards after 6 months of just like consistently living like a different life and just kind of like delaying your gratification. The rewards will be there. And it's like, for me, I find it really exciting to see what I could do 2-3 more years down the line, to see like kind of how far ahead you can kind of get in like the race, I guess, to speak of life, of kind of achieving what like most people want to achieve, like the money, the status, like, yeah, whatever it be, anything, whatever it is for you. But yeah, I really can't like hammer home enough. Like, I really hope this like message of building those foundations in your 20s. Like, obviously, yeah, you see a lot of people, maybe people watching this will be like, oh well, so and so, he didn't get rich till he was like 40, and like he just pissed around, he just took loads of drugs, and he drank all the time, but then he was 35 and became a millionaire. Yeah, that could happen. It will happen to some people. It does happen. But do you really want to be that guy who's like 40, 50 and then you get the millions? Like, would you not prefer to have it in like when you're 30 and 30, 35 or so, when you can enjoy it, you still want to do those same things, that you feel young, you feel vibrant, you still have that ambition and drive to keep going for more? It's like I say, like, it's just so much easier when you're younger. You've got that ambition and drive to just keep going, and you're never going to have that again. Like, as your testosterone decreases, you've got more commitments, you don't have the spare time. Like, it's just easier than ever from that perspective. And also the perspective of the competition these days, a lot of people just give up. And it's obviously, I hate to see this, but for people who will put in the work like I will, and people who I surround myself, it just becomes easier. We don't want it to be this way, and I want to help as many young people out there as possible. But a lot of people are giving up. So from that perspective, it's coming easier and easier because a lot of people aren't willing to put in the work, and it's as simple as that. So I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I remember I was speaking to my friend the other day about this, somewhat kind of this. I think that's kind of what led me to making this video, writing the script about it. And he said that he's been with his girlfriend for like 6-7 years now, and she's seen her friends and stuff. They're all like kind of moving in together. They're all kind of settling down. And he's like, oh, I just know she's looking at that and she wants that, but I just don't want that. I don't want to live that lifestyle. And he's obviously quite like-minded to me. He's a clever guy. He doesn't kind of want to just like get stuck in kind of the rat race type of job, anything like that. And then yeah, he just knows that kind of like men's life does get a lot better. So it's a very difficult one, because a lot of people do want to kind of like, so to speak, keep up with the Joneses, which is kind of just like matching what they do, like finances, like not finance, but having like the car, the houses, and like the materialistic stuff that really doesn't impress anyone. But a lot of people really do fall victim to that trap, and they'll be like, oh, well, my friend's got this and they've got all of this and they're only 25 and we're not even got a house together. They've got a mortgage. Like, oh, they've got a car and finance. Like, this isn't stuff that's desirable anyway, guys. But a lot of people think it is, and even if it was, you got to remember, if you play in the long game, your life will be so much better. And like my friend, he's a smart guy. I know he won't fall into this trap. But if he continues to like kind of work on the stuff he wants to do and get into business and just kind of like not settle for that lifestyle till he's like 30, his life will be excellent. And then if he wants to do that with his girlfriend, then that's fine. He can have that, and he won't have to get stuck into like debt and like commitments that a lot of like young men do, where their lives just become mediocre and boring. It's just not kind of what they wanted ever. This is really familiar with First Man's kind of concept of stick or twist. Stick or twist is like, you're in a situation, you've maybe like earned like a good amount of money, you've kind of got built a decent physique, maybe you've got a woman who you think's like quite attractive, and you could like be like, right, okay, I'm gonna like cash in my chips now. I'm gonna settle with this woman. I'm not gonna like push the gym anymore. I've got a good job and I'm not prepared to really go anymore. I'm not gonna go for business. I've got a nice job. It's 60k a year. I've got a decent woman and I'm gonna settle with her. If that makes you happy, and you maybe say you're 25, 30, so just use 25 for an example. If that makes you happy, great. It might not be the same in 5 years' time. Is something I definitely want to consider. Maybe look at like other people a bit older than you and see that it probably will be the case. It might sound exciting and it's a honeymoon stage early on, but he's like First Man is like an expert as he's continuously twisted to kind of like get to a stage now where he's like built up everything he wants. He's got his own supplements and body wash, and he's just launched his streaming program, streaming platform. So he's just done that. Like he said, I could have easily gone with like a woman. I could have easily got a nice house, and well, he could have still lived like quite a good lifestyle. But for him, at that point, it wasn't good enough. He saw there was still more to achieve. There's still more out there that he could go for. And I think a lot of young men need to roll the dice a bit more, because their lives can be so good if they just like stay in the game a bit longer. When it comes to like women, when it becomes to their job or like their business, whatever it may be, when it comes to like their physique too, and just like not like just settling down. I just don't think, and it's not exciting anyway. Like, I don't think men really want that. They don't want to be like out with like their missus going like to IKEA for some furniture. It's not exciting, is it, guys? Like no one really wants that lifestyle whatsoever. But a lot of men they fall into that trap because they want to keep up with other people, and they just think, oh, like, she's probably the best I could get. But a lot of people, they don't understand, like I've mentioned before, men and women do live on different time scales, and that's something you really need to bear in mind. Obviously, it's a bit off topic to building your foundations in your 20s, but yeah, anyway, I think that's enough for today's video. I hope this message has really like resonated well with people in their teens, early 20s, or even like their late 20s. They've still got time. Even if you're 27 plus or 30 even, I think you still, if you can just put in the work consistently for a couple of years, the results you can see are incredible, and I really want everyone to kind of get onto that journey with me. And if you start to see the results so far, then I'd be really interested to kind of hear your stories. I think it'd be really good to hear and inspire a lot of people who maybe don't believe in it, because I think if you've seen through any of my content, I'm a completely different guy to who I was 6 months, a year ago. So yeah, like I say, guys, I'm currently still away in Edinburgh, but I will be back with some more content coming, hopefully another upload later today. If you could like, share and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me, more than you know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.